It has been a really long time since we've gotten together to speak about quality life. Here's a new episode. We have the man in the flesh today. I want him to introduce himself, and we're going to have conversations today that should help you improve your quality of life. And we want to teach you, we want to empower you, we want to do everything that we can to help you live a better life. So, let's get it started.
You can call me Holistic Sean on Instagram, but I am Sean Mitchner. I'm a holistic coach, and I'm also a fitness trainer. I've been doing this for about 3-4 years as far as being in the holistic field, helping people with their nutrition, and fitness for about 8 years. So I love what I do, and I'm going to continue to help people. So that's a little bit about me.
Just a little recap. I don't know if you remember the last time we had our talk. We spoke about the whole gamut. We gave life story, why we chose to do what we do, and what got us here today. This is obviously going to be an extension of that. Let's go ahead and give them just a recap, if you can remember, because I'm going to link it. But give them a quick little recap.
So, quick little recap about last episode. I told my story, just a little bit of summarization about me, how I got started in the vegan field, I guess you could say. Obviously, my wife is here today. I'm glad to have her here. But obviously, she had some things going on with her where they quote unquote said she had MS. We started taking up some, I guess you could say, herbs, and we changed our diet from a non-traditional diet to a vegan diet. And we came back for the scans, and she was cleared of MS. So once I saw that, I said, oh, this is different right here, man. It's a game. I ain't never seen nothing like that. I'm an athlete, former athlete. I got in shape. I was never felt as good as I felt and seen so much progress as being a vegan. So a little bit about that video was really just seeing, talking about the growth that I had with my wife and experience of being a vegan. And also another thing, just a little bit, we talked about just what you could do if you're starting up as a vegan. If you're a beginner vegan, just a little summarization. Again, just start slow and work your way from there. So that's just a little bit about what we talked about.
Right on the tee. And I wanted to bring in that emphasis of being athletes. We have played at high levels, and they were hammering protein into us. Hammering it. You need to get the calories in. You were eating a lot, and you were lifting weights as well. But there's something about how we feel now compared to how we felt then. Because I remember distinctly, I remember saying I could do more than I did then at a lighter weight. You remember when I said that?
Yeah, I do remember you saying that.
And it has opened my eyes for a really long time. I've been super blessed and grateful. Haven't had any health issues. My family has. And once I started uncovering the layers in school, and I started experiencing people and walking along them and giving them pointers along the way, and we started seeing this stuff, I was sold. I was like, okay, we've got to give it a try at least.
Right.
Start eliminating things at least. And before we started turning the camera on, and we were talking about all this stuff, pesticides and all the interference that goes into food. And I think today we can give people strategy. What does that look like? We've told them how to get started, but what does that look like actually implementing it to life? For an example, when you go into restaurants, or when you have to plan for when you're out of town or super busy, what's your take on it? How do you plan? Say you're super tired, how do you know what you're going to eat?
A little bit of what I do is planning for when I'm really tired. Obviously, always have some quick meals.
Emergency meals.
Some emergency ones that you feel comfortable with. Because I guarantee wherever you go in the world, they're not going to be as nice or helpful when it comes down to your vegan lifestyle as you. They don't. I learned in America, they don't care about vegans as much as we do. They don't care about your lifestyle, so always have some to-go meals, always pre-planned, always have something on the go. So even if it's simple as a PB&J, simple as that, man, just have something on board. You always gotta pre-plan so you won't be the odd person out.
And what we mean by pre-plan is you can think about it, but you really need to have something in place. Just, I know when I go out, or if I'm going to spend time with my girlfriend's family, or I'm going to spend time with my own family, most of the time there aren't options for us, which I'm thankful we're starting to get things in. Mom does the fruit plate, and my girlfriend's family will have things, accommodations for me, having that snack in advance. That snack, making sure you have something ready for a rainy day is huge. And honestly, it's what I encourage people. Even if you have everything, it does not hurt to have an emergency meal, if it's frozen, or just an emergency meal plan. Most nights I'm going to default to rice, beans, or sometimes a type of tofu. Those are just, it's quick. Got an Instant Pot, I can
easy right
really quickly. So I would think that would be the first part, is how you implement this into your life is got to have that emergency rainy day plan or prep in place. Second part, what is the second part to actually implementing it? Maybe this is the social part.
The social aspect as far as in people being around, as far as in how they would judge you,
People being around, or navigating your way through situations where you're at a restaurant and they're looking at you like, we can't do that, sir. We can't just give you the beans, the side of beans, or we can't just give you the vegetables. The chef's not going to do it. How would you personally navigate something like that?
Honestly, if I'm going out with friends or whatnot, personally, I would just eat before I come. I've had it, just gonna eat before I come. There's some restaurants, they don't care if you bring whatever meal that you cook from home or from another restaurant, they don't care, depending on where you go. Or if you go to Panera or something and you want something vegan, you can bring it there, they don't care, because the way they're set up as far as in Panera bread. But if you go to Chick-fil-A, they might care. That's just their model.
That's a good example.
But for me personally, just again, going back to the first step, pre-prepping, I'm gonna definitely, I've had similar to what you were talking about with Thanksgiving with your girlfriend at the house. I've had it with my wife's family. But we've had holidays where, man, we had to go to this Asian spot.
Yeah, what you eating? What are you eating, Sean?
We knew we were eating. We knew we weren't going to be starving. I knew that much. We cooked a big meal before we came. We just brought it with us. One of the two, so.
Awesome. So, all right. So we got the social aspect. We got the planning in. What else can we talk about that can really help someone as they navigate this?
I think another thing that we could speak about is we could speak about somebody, the pesticide situation going on. I know a lot of new vegans, you know what I mean? First of all, it's hard enough just getting started.
Correct.
But a lot of new vegans, I'm pretty sure that kind of scares them right now.
100%.
Situation as far as, if you don't know what the pesticide situation is, it's basically where fruits and vegetables right now are deemed as having pesticides that can give you diarrhea or give you your stomach illness to where you feel any type of discomfort. So for me personally, we always had pesticides on our plants. That's always been a thing. That's nothing new. That's something they put out there to scare you. Nothing wrong with that. But if you wash your vegetables, if you obviously pick organic vegetables that are actually real vegetables, nothing that was sprayed on from real farms, and you actually do that, 9 times out of 10 you have a good chance of actually getting the real beneficial benefits of the fruit or vegetable. And also, you're supposed to fast at least every quarter, so that shouldn't even be an issue anyway. So
But we sleep while we're fasting, we're sleeping.
Correct.
And we're trying to get better sleep, and that's the only time we fast. And then we wake up and we're eating, but it's a conversation for another time. But hot take, I feel, which this is, all I have been is just reading about the explosive diarrhea and the things that people have been going through from the parasite that is in the produce. Just think, our interference, it could be a combination of interference and contamination.
True.
So interference with the pesticides and contamination, whether it be any type of toxicity, that mixture, which made a superbug, the parasite, which it probably thrives in situations like that, and it just happens. We're going to have to read into that one. We'll probably have to make a separate video on that one, diving deeper into it. But let's see, I think it was Taylor Farms, they were having a huge issue. So as far as being able to talk about it in depth, I want to do some reading on it before we get into that, just because you got to come correct. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of bad nerves about it. There's a lot of people that have the mindset of, what do I eat now? I just made it to healthy eating. Now what do I eat now? And also, I think this can be our next step for someone to how they really implement it is the strategy and the building behind it, because people know salads to be something boring. Lettuce, tomato, crouton, salt, dressing.
Correct.
But you and I know, we call it bowls. In this conversation, it's a bowl. It just so happens to have veggies in it.
Right.
So how would you build your bowl? How would you build your plate to make sure you have everything you need? What's your strategy look like?
Oh, my strategy is for me, I don't believe in the typical, a lot of people do it, the croutons, the ranch dressing, the typical salad that you probably see at a restaurant. That's not a real salad. Not saying there's anything wrong with people who do that, but that is not a real salad.
We are going to break down myths. We're going to explore all the things that make a quality life. We're going to explore 3 of the most important pillars in health: mind, macros, and movement. We'll challenge ideas. We'll do it calmly. We'll explore trends. We'll explore businesses, professionals, companies. But we'll stay grounded in the science, because health is not about panic. It's about alignment. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You don't need to chase these hacks. You need fewer interruptions. Quality life. This series is going to be about building the systems that support that biology that you already have embedded in your body. Better health, better life. Welcome to the series.